Hello, welcome to Chase Your Escape. We thought we'd give you a 1-year reflection on our Alaskan cruise from Vancouver of the Inside Passage. So we wanted to share with you our thoughts, and we didn't want to do it right away. We wanted to give it a little time to reflect on our time in Alaska on that cruise and give you some feedback or some ideas if you're planning a cruise yourself, what we would do if we went back again. So, right?
Yeah. So we booked with the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line and specifically picked Brilliance of the Seas because it was a smaller ship, which allowed us to get into a few ports that bigger ships can't. And it allowed us to have a little bit more of an intimate type of cruise. Even though there was still 1,700 passengers, it wasn't 3,000 passengers. So
I've never been on a cruise, so it was my first cruise ship. I can't say I knew the difference, but there were a lot of people.
There were a lot of people, but we're used to RV camping, so that may be why there was more people. So the itinerary that we booked was a Vancouver to Vancouver, so an up and back. We hit the ports of Sitka, Juneau, Tracy Arm Fjord, which isn't really a port, but it's, we cruised through there. Haines and Ketchikan. So Haines is only set up for like one cruise ship, which was part of that decision to do the Brilliance of the Seas because it's smaller and that type of thing. We went beginning of June.
Yes, at the beginning of June. It's the cheapest, non-rainiest month we could find. We wanted to be cost effective, but not freeze in Alaska either. So we did take plenty of warm clothes with us. I would definitely take a good sturdy rain jacket.
Yes, because it still rained. It just wasn't like a constant rain because we had some good sunny days too.
Yeah, and I'd take some decently warm layers to put underneath the raincoat. Maybe a light gloves and a hat and a rainproof bag.
Yes. Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. I think the only day that we were really cold was the day we sailed up Tracy Arm Fjord. And it
was cold.
It was frigid. And part of that, I think, was because we were sailing and the winds had come off the glaciers around us and the colder mountains around us. But all the sight was outside. It was a beautiful sail. And, you guys have seen the videos if you've watched kind of our series. But,
hope you have.
Yeah. And if not, go back and watch. Yeah. So we thought we'd kind of go through some, pros, cons?
Yeah, thoughts. On I don't know, a little bit of everything, hopefully, and it hopefully helps you.
Yeah.
So I'd say, one thing we found out, and I'll fast forward to when we were going home, is book your own airfare tickets. Don't do it necessarily through the cruise or like the travel agent that attaches it to the cruise. We found out kind of the hard way that the code on our tickets was kind of a bulk code. So to modify that travel plan was really just not in the books. It was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It was some ridiculous amount of money. Yeah. So because they'd have to alter that code from a bulk code that Royal Caribbean bought as part of a bulk buy to supply airfare tickets to its cruisers. So I guess our suggestion would be to purchase your own tickets. Create your own airfare. Even if it's a little more, it'll give you some flexibility if you need that flexibility later.
Or talk to your travel agent about booking it separate from the cruise. We use a travel agent, but it was attached to the cruise. And like Corey said, it was bulk. So she unfortunately couldn't help us either, but she would have. She helped the friends that we traveled with change their flight.
Because they booked outside of
the cruise. So yeah.
So I'd say we would probably stay at a hotel closer to the Port of Canada. Canada Place.
Canada Place, yeah. We would have splurged a little if we could.
I think in retrospect, we probably would have got a little bit closer. We ended up walking through the rain a few blocks with our suitcases to get to the port that morning. It was fine, but I think I would have. I think it would have been worth a little extra money to go ahead and just stay a little closer.
We did not buy the drink package, and we were totally fine with the drink package and not purchasing the alcoholic drink package. We purchased the non-alcoholic drink package for us because you can grab water bottles and you can take those with you on excursions, so that you don't have to worry about buying water. You know, it's in American ports, so we didn't have to worry about that so much as if you were taking a cruise in the Caribbean and going to foreign ports and that type of thing. But being able to get the drink package allowed us to have that extra water bottle. We got like a little souvenir mug.
Yeah, I think we did some calculations like the back of the envelope, and the cost for the drink package far outweighed anything that we would normally drink.
The alcoholic drink package. Yes, we're not big drinkers.
Package. We're not real big. Well, we got some drinks here and there, but we did get a drink package. It just wasn't the alcoholic drink package.
Yeah.
That worked just fine for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
And in addition to that, we didn't buy a meal package. We just ate in the main dining room. We had tried one night to do kind of a special thing because we did go for our anniversary and our friend's anniversary as well. And we realized when we looked at the port times, we would be missing quite a few meals. And if we would have bought, you know, the outside main dining, you know, the specialty restaurants and such, we would have missed out on a lot of...
Yeah, we would have had to rearrange our excursion port plans to visit the dining. And we were like, I don't know about that. Like, I think I'd almost rather try to find a place to eat in the port city.
Yeah,
and
which was great.
Experience that. I mean, the dining on the ship was fantastic. It was great. But we just didn't really partake in it.
Not enough to warrant that. Yeah, for sure.
In the main dining, the wait staff was...
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
They were
just awesome. We were traveling with, hopefully if you watched our videos, we traveled with a couple friends and they had some special needs in their meals, and the wait staff was more than accommodating. I mean, they would actually take orders the day before to accommodate. And so when we sat down, they knew everything the next day. They were fantastic.
They were great. They were great. And if you haven't watched, definitely go and watch. We traveled with Jamie and Tara from Savory Savor, and he specializes in gluten-free tips and tricks because Tara is gluten-free. So that was interesting to see.
We'll put a link in the description.
For sure.
So one thing I didn't know, that you can order multiple dishes. You can ask for 2, 3, I don't know about 3. You could ask for 2 dinners. You could ask for 2 desserts.
Yeah.
And boy, after we figured that out, we're like, just bring us a couple. So we can see which one we like or not.
Yeah.
So
got to enjoy the fare that was on board, which was nice.
Yeah. But otherwise we were at the buffet. We did a lot of buffet.
We did a lot of buffets because our dining time was 5 p.m.
Yeah, I mean for like breakfast and lunch. If we were on board for lunch.
Yeah.
The buffet was fantastic. It really was. Yeah. Lots
of choices, lots of options, and even gluten-free worked really well for her. She would just go and say, "Hey, I'm gluten-free," and they would point her to the things that were
specially cook something.
Special cook something for her. So they were really accommodating, which I think made the cruise really enjoyable for her. Let's see what else. Oh, excursions. Would we book them with the cruise line or what we would do different? Because we'll talk about each of them in each of the ports and if we would have done something different. But generally,
I think a mix was good, and that's what we kind of did. We did a couple, some through the cruise and some not. So I think it's all up to you and what experience you want to have. I think there's some pros to doing some through the cruise ship. If the excursion's going to be late, they'll wait for you.
They will.
If it's
we don't know that for by experience.
That wasn't a personal experience, but if it's not their excursion and you're late, they're not waiting for you.
Yeah.
So that's a risk you take, and I think you should, if you're going to do that, just build in a time buffer so you don't have that stress in your life. So you don't want to be left in a port somewhere, because it's up to you to get to the next port to get on the boat.
Which then you've missed so much because it's not like there's tons of airports.
Yeah.
So the balcony room is what we booked because it was our anniversary, and we felt like if you're going to cruise Alaska, you should be able to sit on your own balcony and drink coffee and watch the sights go by. I think I would do it again.
Yeah.
Would you?
100%.
Yeah, I think so.
It was a little chilly.
Well,
at
yes.
times, but it was Alaska.
It was, yeah.
No, it's great. I would, because it was a sightseeing. I mean, the sights around were just out.
Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh, out of this world. Definitely. If it was just pure ocean all the time, I'd get an inside room.
I think you're right.
I'd save money and get an inside room.
Yeah.
And go sit on the balcony somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and there's tons of places to sit on the balcony if it was hotter, right? If it was warmer, you could go up top and sit on that. You could sit by the pool and, see the glass, watch through the glass and stuff. But with Alaska, because it's so cold, it'd be really chilly to sit.
Yeah, just sit out
up there. So we were a little sheltered in our balcony, so we could enjoy watching some of the sights that you wouldn't normally get to because the wind was blocked. But how many days or nights did we
almost every night
sit there and watch for whales and watch the scenery go by? And
some of my favorite times of the cruise were the evenings, like that dusk and the sunsets that we got to witness off that balcony. And
they were pretty spectacular.
Wow. Go to the end of some of our videos and you'll see some. They're just the video doesn't do it justice. Just sitting there, and I don't know how many times I said "wow," during that cruise. So,
yeah, for sure.
Off that balcony, that's well worth it if you can afford it. Spend the extra money to get the balcony. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
We found out that we had different times than our friends did for boarding the boat, so we just went with them and nobody questioned anything. So I'm not saying break the rules, but I don't think they didn't really check our times.
No, I think they do that to spread everybody out because it's not just our cruise ship that was leaving that day, it was also like 5 others. So I think that they try and do that to space it out. We can talk about what happened on the way back, but going was super easy. So I think Vancouver, let's talk about Vancouver.
We had a fabulous time in Vancouver. I think I was very impressed with the airport, very impressed with the flow through the airport. We're coming from America, so to go into Canada, we had to go through customs. But we hopped right on the subway, skyway, Skyrail. It was awesome. It was cheap. And I don't know, what, half hour, maybe 20 minutes, half hour.
Something
on
like
there, right down to the waterfront.
Right.
So, transportation. If you use that subway, Skyrail,
we'll put the name of it down
we'll figure it out.
So
but, it went all over the city, and it was super cost effective. So.
Capilano was amazing, and they had a free shuttle that went from Canada Place to Capilano, and then you just bought your tickets there or online, and then you could take the shuttle back from Capilano to Canada Place, so you didn't have that expense.
Super convenient.
Super convenient.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So when we were there, the treetops, which is like a suspension bridge is between the trees, was closed because the collars that they use around the trees have to be moved because it's attached to the living trees that are there. And so in order to prevent damage or whatever,
I think they move them every 10 years, and we happen to be there for one time.
For that. So
it was like 5 years or 10 years.
Yeah,
or something like that.
It was kind of a random time, and we just happened to pick that time. So that's a place we would definitely go visit.
I am not a fan of heights. I'm scared of heights. I did every bit of it, and I enjoyed it, and you will too. It was awesome.
It was really cool.
I wouldn't miss it. I'd go back.
Yeah,
I'd go back again.
For sure. Lots of education, and
not even just for the treetops, but to do it again.
Yeah. It was beautiful. So. I think what would we have done differently in Vancouver other than staying closer to the port?
I would have flown in an extra day early because I didn't realize how cool that city was.
That was
at least one day, if not more.
Yeah.
It was so much to see. I never realized it.
What's the name of that park that was in the big, huge park that we drove through?
Park.
Stanley Park.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to that.
No, it was named after Lord Stanley and like the cup. You know,
Like,
like the hockey cup.
The hockey cup. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it said it was like bigger than Central Park in New York or something.
Which mind blowing.
Yeah.
In the middle of this city that is incredibly beautiful and that type of thing. So I think
we got around as much as we could, but boy, if I'd do it again, I'd spend a few days there, either before or after, or both. So we steamed for like a day before we got to Sitka.
So we had a day.
Lots of sights to see, but you kind of just spent a day on the boat. Yeah.
Which was great, I thought.
It's great. And lot to see. Yeah.
Adjusted to kind of the rhythm of things, right? Eating, sights to see. You could check out all the different viewing spots. We took laps around the pool and the top deck a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good little steam. And then got into Sitka.
Beautiful. Blew me away. What a place.
Yeah.
Just even pulling in the port was just jaw-dropping. Beautiful. Straight out of a picture, a movie, whatever you want to say.
It was kind of whatever you think Alaska should look like. I think there were 2 ports that I went, oh yeah, this is Alaska. We're in Alaska. Like you couldn't mistake it for the quintessential Alaska. And I think Sitka was
right up there at the top.
Was one of those.
Yeah. It was
for
awesome.
Sure.
I thought Sitka was our shortest port visit, but I really enjoyed Sitka. I don't know why, I just did. It was very, very authentic, I felt like. And it was actually our first stop, so it kind of set the expectation for the rest of the trip.
It did.
So, but it was a small little downtown, but just authentic. It wasn't overrun with trinket shops and tourists. I mean, there are plenty of tourists, but I felt like I was in an Alaskan city and not part of a tour group in an Alaskan city.
I feel like because the port of where the cruise ships come in is separated from that old town, there's 2 ports, right? So I think that having that separation allowed visitors to come into their life rather than it was like us going into their life and we assimilated to them in that little bus ride going.
Yeah.
Rather than here I am, you know, like tourist
and
in your face thing.
The bus driver kind of like gave us, she did
I loved her. She was so great.
She was awesome. Yeah. But she gave us kind of a little, she chatted on the way from the port down to downtown. And we passed by the local high school, the Sitka High School. I want to say it's Sitka High School.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it had a name. But she made a comment that in Alaska, when you're on like the baseball team,
in high school,
you fly to the other games and you spend the night in your opponent's house, like in their bedroom, or not in their bedroom, but in their home.
In their home,
They host you and you host them when it's your turn. So I thought that was so cool. Like it probably promotes good sportsmanship and behavior, but probably a sense of community too. That's really cool. Yeah, really neat stuff. But I had a great time in Sitka. It was just picturesque.
Yes.
Very obviously there's a lot of water in Alaska, or at least in where we were at, and it was just a huge boating community. You could sense it, but I have no choice because there's no roads in or out of that town. So everything there, I think what hit me was how everything I saw had to have been brought by boat or brought by plane, even the bus that we were on and the gas that it took to run that. So it was kind of an odd, I had never experienced that before, and it never really occurred to me that way. So.
Well, say what you were saying about a car's value or anything like.
I kept walking around. I said, "What if a car just broke down? Does that mean everybody else's car value goes up because there's only a limited amount of cars in the city?"
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, how valuable is the car mechanic in that city? I mean, he must have like job security beyond belief.
Right.
So I don't know. It was interesting.
Yeah.
But we went and saw. Well, we did a walking tour. We didn't do an excursion.
Correct.
We really didn't hit. We didn't have a lot of plans for Sitka, which actually worked out fine for us.
I think because we knew there were certain things that we wanted to see, and we definitely wanted to hit the national park at Totem.
Yes. Yeah.
And the time at Sitka was so short, I was worried that we wouldn't hit what we wanted to see and kind of get that feeling of the town.
If we would have went on an excursion of some sort, we wouldn't have seen Sitka.
I don't feel like we would
itself.
have. No, I don't think we would have been able to be immersed in that. Like we saw the small interior of like Bishop's house, and that wasn't on an excursion. We got to spend some quality time at Totem Park.
Yeah, no, we walked over there. It was an easy walk.
Easy walk.
Less than half mile, maybe.
Yeah.
But if you, very easy walk. You don't need to take an Uber or anything. But it was really pleasant too. Like, it was picturesque and plenty to see on the way. So.
Right. I think if we went back, would we do an excursion again?
Mm-hmm.
Or do an excursion?
Because we'd seen the town already.
Because we'd seen the town. So they had, I think, 2 places that are very much promoted there is Fortress of the Bear, where they take bears who have unfortunately been exposed to humans and that type of thing, and they have to put them in a spot or because they just keep getting themselves in trouble. And so Fortress of the Bear, and then there's the Raptor Center, I think is what it's called.
I think that's right, yeah.
Which has bald eagles that you can see up close and that type of thing. So that would have been nice to see, but further on in the journey, we saw enough bald eagles, I think, probably to...
Yeah, no, we were...
solve our need for that.
That came later.
Yeah.
We didn't realize that at the time. I think the one thing about Sitka is we were only... I remember we were the second boat, and I don't think there was a third, if I remember right. So it was kind of limited on the amount of people that were there in the first place, which probably added to some of our enjoyment of not being overcrowded.
Probably helped a lot in that, not feeling like you were in the middle of a tourist town, but still, able to see things. Is Sitka the place that we got the crab legs?
It is, yeah.
Oh. These things you forget after a year. That place was the bomb.
Fisherman's Alley.
Fisherman's
Alley.
Alley.
Set up a little alleyway.
Yeah.
Gotta do it. It was so cool. We got our crab and salmon.
Crab and salmon, yeah.
We were like kind of looking around where to sit down to eat because you're literally on this downtown sidewalk, and they're like, no, go down to this bar. I can't remember, Buddy's Bar or something like that. And just they know us, and we're all family, and just go sit down. We went down there, walked in, nobody batted an eye. We ordered some beer.
And
it was awesome.
That
felt like a local.
Yeah, exactly. That we want to talk about is Juneau.
It was our next stop. Yeah. What'd you think?
Juneau was full of people.
A lot of people.
It was a lot of people, and I think in the video even we shared like the numbers. Like I think there were 7 ships that could dock, and 7 ships with 2,000. No, 2,000 people, like on average.
That was our small ship was 2,000. The bigger ships are 4,000 or 5,000.
So a lot of people, and they utilize that. I mean, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
I kind of felt guilty, I'll be honest, because I was part of the tourist problem, I was kind of like appalled, well, not appalled's the wrong word, but like shocked maybe at the number of tourists. And
number of people in general. I mean,
because of all the boats.
And maybe because Juneau is just big. I mean, Juneau's a large city.
Yeah, but also no roads connecting out of town. They had to fly or ship everything in.
So I don't know if it's because it's such a large city and now you add all these tourists, right? But the dock area was great. I love the dock area.
I think beautiful. For us, it was totally gorgeous.
Juneau didn't live up to, I guess, the Alaska thought, because we were supposed to do the whale watching tour. And that was canceled, and that was sad and disappointing for us because that was a huge highlight. That was one of the reasons why we wanted to go.
It was a 2-part tour.
It was a 2-part tour. And Mendenhall Glacier.
So we spent that time kind of meandering around downtown that we wouldn't have. And I felt like downtown was kind of just a tourist shopping center. Lots of jewelry stores, lots of t-shirts, things like that. Yeah. That's fine, but it just wasn't us.
But it was all not authentic
I didn't feel like I was in authentic Alaska, and that's unfortunate. And that's what I felt guilty about. Is like there's so many tourists, and that whole tourism has taken over that town because of the cruise boats. I'm sure authentic Alaska sits not very far away from downtown, but it wasn't where we were at. So is what I felt like. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about Mendenhall Glacier, and we were supposed to go whale watching.
Yeah. And
then do the Mendenhall Glacier.
I was looking forward to whale watching.
I know, I think all of us were. We were severely disappointed, but we, adjusted and...
Yeah, the weather was poor. So they canceled it.
What did you think about Mendenhall Glacier?
It was good. I'm glad we went. I got to see a glacier somewhat up close. It's not real close, but it's there. You can see it. There was a lot of people, but I think everybody was in the same boat, no pun intended, as we were. So looking for something to do. But boy, there was a lot of people on that trail, and you're kind of dodging and weaving to get down there, but it was worth it. It really was. The
view was spectacular, and I really enjoyed seeing it.
Yeah, it's good. We went to Tracy Arm Fjord.
And cruised up Tracy Arm Fjord. So I loved the scenery. Like, we had seen pictures of bears that are close to the water that you can kind of sail past and that type of thing. But
we saw no bears.
We saw no bears. But the scenery was really nice, which I enjoyed. But
if you want to see it, it's at the end of our Juneau video.
Yeah,
take a peek at that.
Yeah.
It's really cool. We set the GoPro up on the balcony and let it time lapse. So we got to see really cool super blue glacier ice go by. I thought that was really neat.
That, I think, was the favorite part.
Yeah.
Our favorite part of that part of the cruise was to see glacial ice, because at Mendenhall there wasn't any.
No.
And so to see just how beautifully blue that was floating in the water was really cool. But I don't know that if the cruise had Tracy Arm or something else, I don't know. I think I'd probably choose something else.
I don't know if I go out of my way to go to Tracy Arm. If it was on there, I'd be happy to go. But I don't know. I don't know if I would make a special choice to put that on the itinerary.
Yeah, I think we had a glacial somebody who knew a lot about glaciers. And she was on the ship at the same time that we were sailing. She was like our special visitor. And so she had lots of great information, and she kind of... Over the speaker. And we had gone to a seminar that she had given about it, which was kind of cool. And so that part was nice, but I don't... So next stop was... Haines.
Yeah, Haines is good. It was pretty. Pulling into port, I was just like, couldn't believe how picturesque. It was straight out of a picture. It was like a Norman Rockwell picture. It was just incredible.
That quintessential, oh my gosh, you pull into port and there's, these beautiful high snow-covered peaks.
White mountains or white houses on the green. It was, wow.
It was really quite phenomenal, and I'm glad that we were able to go there. And because our ship was so small, we were able to see Haines at all.
It's a one-ship port.
It's a one-ship port. And, one of the downfalls for us to do the Skagway fast ferry was because there wasn't a lot to do in Haines as far as excursions go. We had there was a lot of float trips and ATV trips and that type of thing, which would have been fine to do, and we just wanted to see dogs like that.
Yeah, it was on our
sled
list
dogs.
to see sled dogs. Yeah. And gold painting was a nice add-on, because I like to do that as a hobby. So painting in Alaska for gold was on my bucket list. So
I think so.
Yeah. So we hopped on the fast ferry, went to Skagway.
Yeah.
Got dropped off in Skagway with the other 6 ships that were in port over there.
There were so many ships. It was like Juneau.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah. A lot of people.
I think the original downtown is more or less intact, I think. A lot of the old buildings, I don't think they're just facades. I think they're old buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of jewelry stores and t-shirt shops and things like that, at least downtown. It's worth wandering around. But if you're not into shopping, you should probably do an excursion of some sort or some sort of activity.
White Pass train was really an excursion that everybody really books fast. And I know there was a lot of comments about not being able to get on that. So they book up really fast. So make sure you get them early when they open. For us, being able to take the fast ferry allowed us from Haines to Skagway, allowed us to see the dogs and gold panning and the town, which it was cool. It was historical, like the old boardwalk and, you know, the building facades, or at least the buildings were really authentic looking. The train, you know, and to hear the history that was there was kind of nice to see. But it required coordinating and being able to, because we booked it outside of the cruise, making sure we allowed enough time to get from the cruise ship, like disembark.
That was my concern, getting back to the boat in time. Yeah,
well, disembarking, getting on the fast ferry in the correct time, getting to Skagway to meet the tour, going through the tour, then getting back on the fast ferry back to the cruise ship before the cruise ship sailed.
We weren't in port a long time in Haines, so we had to be kind of timely on it. It was neat. It was a good little ferry ride over there. Amy picked up a newspaper that was on there, and it said, there was a little table. It said the drive times between cities in Alaska, and the drive time between Haines and Skagway was 8 hours, and it was a 45-minute ferry ride. It just blew my mind that it could be that long to get that distance. So it was really neat. Don't plan on driving and renting a car. No, we got picked up in downtown Skagway for the sled dog and gold panning excursion.
Sled dog and gold panning,
It was like a half hour, 45-minute van ride on a somewhat mountainous road, dirt road. Really picturesque, really just awesome views and stuff. Kind of found out later that it was along the same path as some of the original gold rush of the Klondikers that were searching for gold. But I enjoyed the excursion. I think it was pretty neat.
Yeah, and we have to give a shout out to the company, and we'll put their information in the description. They were super nice, and when I was kind of doing all the coordinating and going, okay, well, what time can we get to Skagway? Oh, okay, what time can we get back? I had called the tour company because there wasn't any times available that would work for us. And I said, hey, is there a possibility that you would open up another tour between these times so that we can, you know, be accommodated? And they said, oh yeah, no problem. They went ahead and opened it up, and, you know, it was plenty booked. There wasn't any empty seats. So I was very appreciative, and definitely a shout out, because we would have been really, I don't know, would we have been bored, or would we have figured out something else?
We probably would have figured
out something else, because who gets bored in Alaska and walking around?
It was neat. We got to pet a few dogs and pan a little gold, and if you're into that, it's well worth the time and effort to go. A really beautiful place.
For sure. I think one thing to note, though, is that when the cruise ship comes in, they're actually separated from town, and so Haines itself and the little town part, I guess, main part, is you don't get a chance to go there if you take the fast ferry to Skagway. So that's kind of
removed from the downtown area.
Yeah,
the port.
So
but the fast ferry is right next to the port.
Yes.
But we were on our way to Ketchikan next.
So Ketchikan, I loved Ketchikan.
I love Ketchikan. It was great. It was my second favorite city after Sitka, but for totally different reasons. So I felt like it was a very vibrant city. You can almost feel the energy in the city. The downtown port area was just off the charts cool. Really loved it.
It had a lot to do. Like, there's Creek Street, and there was food, and there was shopping, and there was hiking, and there was all kinds of things to do. And we had gone into the town and seen Creek Street, which I think was really cool. I think
it's worth the visit if you're into that and want to see something neat and unique.
It had shopping.
Yeah, and a little bit of some restaurants and lots of shopping. Some art, t-shirt shops as well. But it was really
it was really good.
interesting.
And there's a salmon ladder and Merriman's Trail and that type of thing. So
Yeah, a lot to see.
yeah, a lot to see there. But then we also booked the best excursion that we possibly could have imagined. I think that was probably the highlight of the trip for all four of us.
Yeah, I'd do it again right now. But we did the Bering Sea crab fisherman's tour excursion, something like that. And we were walking down the gangway, and I was like, "We're getting on the Aleutian Ballad, straight out of Deadliest Catch."
Yeah.
They've retrofitted the Aleutian Ballad with stadium seating, and I thought you just sit in your seat and hang out and wait. No, it was totally hands on. We got to hold crab. You could wander around the boat.
Yeah.
Go. There's a top deck, and it was off
Bottom
the charts.
deck. It
fantastic.
It was incredible to hear their stories. It was incredible to be on the ship or the boat and to see how they functioned. How you see them on television, but they. Crab pots are huge, and they, how they work, and their work ethic is great. It was awesome to hear their stories and that type of thing. And then the highlight, I think, was not just holding crab and seeing that, but also the bald eagles that
unreal.
Were incredible. It's something to see them in, you can go to the zoo or you can go to a raptor center and see them in cages and rehabilitation and that type of thing, but to see them in the wild,
hundreds
on trees, it was incredible.
They were just going around
everywhere.
It was just you'll never experience that anywhere else.
No, it's
a unique opportunity.
It is a very unique opportunity. I think because the crew of the Aleutian Ballad worked so closely with the native population there, they have
fishing grounds
that they have permission, that the Aleutian Ballad has permission to go to, and they
it's like a reservation on land. They own that.
Right.
That's their it's part of their community.
Right. So they're able to feed the bald eagles and not, it's like highly illegal, right? So this is the one opportunity that you can see bald eagles so close and see them be able to swoop down and pick up the fish out of the water, and
you can hear them up close. Interact with each other and fight each other over the fish, and it was totally unique. And if you ever get a chance, you should absolutely do that.
Absolutely.
If I had to give one suggestion to anybody going on an Alaskan cruise and they happen to stop in Ketchikan, I would say you should strongly consider this excursion. It is well worth every penny and every minute spent. I mean, it was a long excursion too. It was 4+ hours.
It was.
Yeah.
It was long.
It was well worth the money spent.
But definitely worth it. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what would we do different?
I'd go one way, not two way, not two-way, round trip. So I do one way, not round trip. I'd probably go like Anchorage to Vancouver, or Anchorage to Seattle, or vice versa.
Right.
To be able to see more territory. I think. Well, the scenery was just awesome.
Incredible.
Up the Inside Passage. Coming back, we've kind of seen some of it already, so it wasn't quite as interesting on the way back. But I think you could hit a lot more territory, a lot more scenery doing a one-way trip. So.
Yeah, I think seeing Inside Passage is something that is beautiful, and you get to see that on a one-way, but you get to see more, right? You get to go further into Alaska or deeper into Alaska. So you see, you can pick Glacier Bay or Hubbard Glacier or those type of scenes, and that I think is missing.
We haven't done that, so we'll have to book that cruise and go do that so we can report back. Now, in the comments, make sure you let us know if you've done an Alaska cruise, which direction, or if you did round trip. Yeah. What was your thoughts? Help everybody else out as well.
What your favorite?
If you have any favorite excursions and such.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
So do you want to tell them about our little bit of announcement?
Yeah, we have an announcement. We'll let you say.
So I think the channel we love Chase Your Escape, and we'll maintain that name. but we are going to move our RV content to an official Chase Your Escape, where I think we're going to rename.
We'll rename this channel.
Yeah,
with an Alaska theme or an international theme. I think the Alaska videos that we made off our cruise has really gotten quite a few views, and and the comments tell us that they have value for people. So we want to keep those up, and where possible, maybe we'll add some more as well when we go on our next cruise or international, or we'll figure it out. But yeah. But it's time to split the RV content off and let it live on its own. We thought we could put them in together, but we have Alaska people watching RV stuff and they're not interested. So,
so we want to show you what you want to see. If you came to the channel because you have searched the Alaskan content and you go, well, now there's RV content, and I'm a little confused. You know, we want to be able to have the RV and our chase our escape, and how we, you know, kind of chase the rat race or escape the rat race. And we do that through, you know, various road trips and camping and that type of thing. Yeah. So we want to have that channel and that content available for you, because that's what you come to the channel to look for. And you know, the Alaska trip can be.
Once we get that established, we'll put that in the description as well, so you can go find us. And if you enjoy the RV content as well, you can go over there and subscribe to that channel. But we'll add. We love RVing and camping, so we want to add more content to that as well, and let it stand on its own.
Yeah, and so a little bit about Chase Your Escape is, I think for us, you know, we try and search and chase the passive income so that we can, you know, get the escape a little bit more.
More freedom. We'd love more time freedom to go adventuring.
Okay. Well, I guess in the meantime,
chase your
escape.
Thank you.